Welcome. Got my dog, got my green screen, got a new subscription going on, everything else good. I'm gonna take this down for one quick second because we are going live. Seeing a little behind the curtain style going on right here. How's everyone going today? How's everyone doing today? Hopefully well and good. I am going to do a preview today. Hopefully, big up. Oh, big up, Baz. Big up. Hope you're doing well, Baz, as always. Appreciate the fact that you're tuning in, seeing what's good. Big up to the football sanctuary. Big up. A lot of people tuning in and showing love. I appreciate that for sure. Let me do something real quick just to make it all work and be good, so I can set up my dog. Everything else. All right. So, little makeshift getting going on. Appreciate you guys doing it. Trap Joe, big up. All right. So here's a little bit better of setting, so you don't have to see the green screen going on and everything else. Hey, so we're going to be getting into this preview. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate the fact that we have a big game, and you guys are giving me the pleasure of sharing some information, going through and everything else. Here we go. Also, let me put up, I'm going to share the link here as well. Put the link in here. I think I can pin it now, but I'll just put it in the chat here. There's the link if you want to pop on in and, put in some information or, share some of your information, share some of your insight. I have a pretty cool show today. I'm going to really get into a lot of stuff before this match, since we're going to be coming up on the international break. Let's just dive right into it. All right. So again, if you want to join, you're more than welcome. Baz, if you're chilling and you're you want to hop on, or you got the itch to to join in and talk some Reds, dog, we really miss you and appreciate you and hope that you're doing well and continue to rehab and get better, and see you soon, if not today, possibly. All right. So I'm going to put this in and bring you up to date as to what it is that I would like to include on today's matchup. So let's just get right into it. Look, going into this matchup, I know that a lot of people have a lot of insight on, or different opinions on what's going on with the window and what we're doing with what we're doing with all the different types of how can you put it, different types of opinions as to if our transfer window is good or not. All right. So let's just take a quick look at this. This is so far what we're working with. Paid 35 million, 60 million, 38 million, and now 16 million for these four individuals. Four great additions and everything else. It looks like we got Chris Angel in the house. Big up. All right, so I'm going to add Chris to this discussion right now. There's Chris. How's it going, Chris?
Up, thanks for having me, Will.
Hey, no, I appreciate it, brother. Definitely. Let me see if I can bring you over so you don't block. I know how we can do it. So you don't block him out. All right, so this is what we're looking at. Good business. How was your feelings about this, Chris? Did you have were you cool with the business that we've done so far?
Okay, so I didn't believe we would bring four midfielders in. I don't think none of us believed we were going to bring four midfielders in the summer. So in that regard, I think we did an exceptional job in regards to bringing in four midfielders, especially when you look at the amount of people that left in the midfield department, which is four. I know that I think we still have a missing hole in the midfield, but I think in regards to the age group in midfield, in regards to the longevity that's going to happen in the midfield, I think we did an exceptional job. I think, and especially for the accumulation of the price of all of them, I think it was smart business. I think, but obviously, there's still some holes that need to be filled, but I think we did exceptional in regards to the midfield department. I guess in regards to the rebuild, I think we did a very good job. I think we do need a six, but I think we did an exceptional job, talent-wise, experience-wise, what each of them can offer. I think we did great, in my opinion.
got a surprise for everyone. Chilling in the big UK. We got Baz in the house as well. What up, Baz? How are you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Hey,
Hopefully you can
big
hear me.
up, guys. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
big up, Bass. Big up, Bass.
Yeah, Baz in the
Can
house.
you guys hear me very well?
Yeah, we can hear
Can
you.
you hear me very
We can
well?
hear you for sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff, brother.
Lovely,
Hope
because I'm
that you're
using my
recuperating.
mobile net, data because
Okay. Yeah, give a shout out to all the people in the chat and anyone that tunes in, because a lot of people are definitely got their heart and thoughts in that you get a good recuperation and that you're back with us fully, camera on as well. It's very, very soon, so give a shout out.
Yeah, look, guys, thank you so much for all the support, all the well wishes. Last Monday on the 21st, I had my ACL, MCL, LCL, meniscus
Wow.
all repaired.
Mm.
So pretty much, oh yeah, and also a knee was the actual patella itself had to be reconstructed. So big surgery, big surgery.
Oh, yeah, big surgery. Yeah, for
But
those that
I'm
don't
doing
know,
better.
surgery. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. Like I said, we're all optimistic that it's going to work out, and I'm rooting for you as always. I'm sure Chris is, and the rest
Yeah,
of the Mighty Reds Army, of course.
It's a big surgery for those that don't know. It's a big surgery. So hopefully, he recovers well. Um, the next step now is physical therapy, recovering, and hopefully, man, God willing, it turns out okay, man.
Yeah. How are you feeling
Yeah,
about this? How are
thank
you
you.
feeling about this? We got Chris's insight on our window. How are you feeling about these four guys that are joining us, joining the Mighty Reds here? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I'm really happy about it. Look, we needed reinforcements for sure, and we've got reinforcements. Personally, if I think we could have pushed the boat, I'd have preferred to have not just to have, but maybe go and get a defender in, because my concerns are with Ibu. I love the guy, brilliant young defender, but my thing is that he does get to a lot of injuries, maybe little niggles and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
sorry guys, my internet is really bugging out.
No worries, no worries. If you need to
But
log
yeah,
back,
I would have wanted to see it. Yeah, I would have loved to see maybe a defender coming in as well, and then I would have been a lot more happier. But
Mhm.
I'm happy with what we've got right now. So rebuild to the midfield, a completely
Mhm.
new midfield. We brought in players. Grab Birch, I'm really happy with. Absolutely, he's one of those players that I like. A proper number 8, box to box. Dangly, he's very young, and he's a project player, which is what we do. And then we've got a bit of experience um, in Endo.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm happy.
you're happy. Good, good, good. I mean, I know it's not easy to make a lot of Reds happy when it comes to the transfers. I mean, unless it's short of like Mbappe and and like players on that level when it comes into getting acquisitions in. But here, just check and look at this. So I'm going to bring this tab up. This is something I thought was kind of a cool way of looking at it. If you look at it, we have Fabinho, we replaced him with McAllister. We had Henderson, we replaced him with Dom. We had James Milner, replaced him with Endo. We had Keita, replaced him with Gravenberch. I think that shows to me, and I saw Phillips comment in the chat. I tried to ask him why he thought so. But to me, that is not even a like for like. It's more of like a like upgrade in essence when it comes to the talent going out. And the talent going out was good talent. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any ways to Fabinho, Hendo, Milner, Keita. I mean, I was very optimistic on even Milner possibly staying. I mean, today I saw him on the Brighton squad, putting in work. still putting in work even at his advanced age for in football terms. But I mean, I think that this is a pretty decent upgrade to what we had and what we're going to be going forward with, considering that some of these players, albeit Endo is at 30, so I understand it's a concern, but I do think that we possibly could go back into the window and get Andre, who I know Chris is very high on as well. I don't know if you're high on him or not, Baz, but I know that we could go back in, pick up another DM, or even wait for the summer and just continue to develop Bashevnik into that role. I think it's like a pretty decent look as to, a shout out look, I guess you could say, to what we have. I think he's on the log back in, he said. Chris, what do you feel about that?
So I think I understand why a lot of fans might not feel like optimistic, I think. But when you really sit there and think about it, well, you didn't put him up there, but Ox and Naby didn't feature at all last season. When you
Absolutely.
really look at it, you didn't feature at all last season. So we are adding, because that's the thing too. For me, I think availability is the best ability. So it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you can't stay fit enough or you can't be on the pitch, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. But that's obviously another conversation. So I think I agree, man. I think I know obviously a lot of the players that is being shown here is not like for like.
Right.
But that's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Everyone is different. Every player is different. You know what I mean? So I don't know what the plan is going forward in regards to tactics or formation or the type of way Klopp wants to play. I know a lot of people are going to talk about we don't have a 6, but maybe Klopp sees a different madness to how we're going to play going forward. Maybe we might not play with a 6, or we might do more box to box or more 8s, and So, but I'm very happy, man. I'm very happy because when you look at, for example, Milner when he's on the peak of the downside of his career, when you look at Naby Keita where he never really featured. When you look at Ox as well, didn't really feature last season as well. You look at Henderson, when you can see his downside as well, athletically. And the same thing goes for Fabinho as well. So we've replaced them with youth, and we have a good 5 years with them before they hit a point where I think physically we might have to replace them or we might have to change tactics. So I'm very happy, man. I am very happy in regards to the players we brought in. And the players that got let go, I think, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I can understand it not being looked at as a like for like. I don't think, just as you said, I think that you're really rarely going to get a like for like, transfer window where you just, you lose one player, you automatically replace them with another. Especially since you sometimes, or you tend to have an opportunity to allow for the youth players to transition into the roles that are now being opened by the exiting players. So and often I often look at it as I would like to see a team never really block a youth player from advancing by getting a player that's going to basically thwart his opportunities. You wanted to put something in on that, Baz?
Yeah, you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear. We can all hear you.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, to be fair, just looking at that, those pictures. Look, that's probably the best we could have done. To be fair, in terms of replacing and bringing in players, and obviously when you look at the top, there's a lot of experience there. Besides Naby Keita, there's a lot of experience. But we've got McAllister, who's had a couple of years in the Premiership. You know what I mean, like playing, and we've got obviously Endo as well, who can bring that in as well. To be fair, I think Endo's done decently well considering the 2 games that he's played have been with 10 men.
Right. He's been thrown into the fire for sure.
Absolutely. But what we've got is a lot of potential there, huge potential. Szoboszlai has been like the Henderson. And what I mean by that is his energy has been brilliant. And you know what? He's not even shown us what he's really about yet. So I'm really excited, and yeah, I think, like I said, if we could have got a defender in, I know it's all done now. If we could have bought a defender in, that would have been probably the best solution, and hopefully we keep Salah till, keep him for another year or so and see how we get on with that.
Yeah, that's what Philip Bidwell is echoing your point by saying we didn't get a cover for Trent or a CB, but definitely the midfield has been upgraded from our midfield from last season. Yeah, he had. I know he mentioned that he said it was a wash when it came to this transfer window, saying that he didn't think it was good, but he didn't think it was bad. I'm on the lines of thinking that it was a good window for us, considering, a lot of the things that we had to deal with, whether it was Saudi Arabia's involvement in getting players and getting involved with, trying to manage minutes between all these players and everything else. It was going to be a difficult transition to do.
To be fair, man, sorry to cut you there. Yeah, I watched the game today with Chelsea, and I tell you what, obviously Caicedo, he had an absolute stinker today, man.
Yeah.
Absolute stinker.
You know what's funny too is that, like, let me see. I saw a great picture. I'll bring it up later on just to kind of stick Chelsea a little bit. But if you look at it, Lavia isn't even on the bench. That is something that blows your mind. Here's a player that we are about to try to bring in to our team to be an actually pretty important piece. A player that we're going to try to utilize immensely. Yet he wasn't even on the bench. He's in the stands playing, looking at his phone. That is something that's crazy. That's just absolutely crazy. But I think it tells you the distinctly different stages of two teams that both in their mind want to contend. But I think in one mind it's definitely a pipe dream, and the other it might be a reality.
Yeah. When you look at it, they've got a lot to do. They've got to build an identity. Chelsea, they've got all these players in as well. It's going to take. They've got the players, but they need to have the balance, and they need, the most importantly, the time. Whereas Liverpool, we're a little bit further up. You could see the difference between them and us last year. There was one stage we were very, very close with them, you know what I mean? And then they just fell apart, and then we managed to finish as best as we can. And I really think that this season, all we can do is just start and just keep churning results. We'll worry about our performances later on. The most important thing is 3 points. When you look at teams like Newcastle today, you know what I mean, losing and stuff like that. So long as we keep getting points and stuff like that, and we just keep doing our thing quietly, then we've got an opportunity. So long as we keep our players fit, and we give it a go. And you can see sometimes where we sometimes moan about our players are worked too hard in terms of training and stuff like that. But when you look at when we've had 10 men, we've managed to beat we've done brilliantly well in the last 2 games with 10 men. Right. So our energy levels are actually really high. So yeah, we just need to find a balance, and hopefully we stay away from injuries, and we give the players the opportunity. Your Curtis Joneses of this world, the Sechic's and stuff like that, and we balance them, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know this too. I think he might have played it in youth, because this is a great point. So I'll bring up this point actually first. So he says Bajcetic was a center back, so he can play there as well. I didn't know that Bajcetic was a center back.
He played.
Yeah.
He played for Celta Vigo in the youth.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But he hasn't played there
in years.
Yeah, he played there for Celta Vigo. But I remember, if I'm correct, because I don't really have all the facts. Mm-hmm. Once he came to Liverpool and was in the youth, he was switched over to midfield, so he hasn't played there for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know, throwing him there as an option, I don't see it. I don't think he doesn't have the height, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So we really have to be careful with playing if that's what's being said, to play him in center back, especially with an adductor injury, and to be able to move lateral movements. I wouldn't recommend, especially now with how fast paced the league is. with these players running at you, I wouldn't recommend it, in my opinion.
That's a great point.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just touching on with that, Bajcetic, yeah, it's true. In his youth days, he has played as a centre back, but he's more probably he's definitely a more midfielder. And then when as Chris says, is actually facts. Adductor injuries are, they can potentially be serious, very serious. And, we need to ease him back. So I think to play him in defence with big defenders and stuff like that, and he's still only a kid, it's going to be very, it's going to be very peak with him. So hopefully Kwanzaa, who's been involved so far in the last couple of games, hopefully he gets an opportunity as well, because he looks like a really promising guy. So if we can just maybe ease off playing Bajcetic, give him minutes, of course, to get his level and his stamina back and his game time back. But be very careful with him, innit?
Right, exactly. No, completely understand that. I think too, though, again, another Football Sanctuary is dropping some real good knowledge here. You got to also add Thiago, Bajcetic, Jones, and Elliott, who all know the system, who all obviously are very ingratiated with the team and what Klopp is expecting from them and everything else. I mean, that's something to keep in mind when we think about the midfield. These 4 midfielders alone are an upgrade and certainly high caliber players. But once we do get Thiago and Bajcetic fully healthy, and obviously Jones as well now too. But also, the Elliott, I think, is one of the unsung heroes when it comes to play, because I think that he gets it, man. When he goes out there, he's like shot out of a cannon. It looks like, with the energy and the intensity that he brings, which is really, really promising. So, all right, so let's get into it. So let's just get into what we have here. This man will not be participating in this match, but yet since he is our captain, won't be our captain for the game, but still all the same, since he is our captain, he's pointing out that we have Aston Villa. So I brought up these things. This is how we played them last year. Okay. I tried to make it as big, because I know that sometimes some of the people that tune in are looking on their phones, and it can be hard to see. So when we lined up, they had Watkins, McGinn, Bailey. It was more of like a 4-2-3-1 is what they were looking at, or what you're seeing from them going forward. And we played them in our obvious 4-3-3. With as far as the game was more obviously. They sat back more, obviously, because they had 33% of the ball. We nearly doubled their passing. Fouls, obviously, it was a very contentious game, considering 16 fouls on our part, 13 fouls on their parts, and that there were 5 yellow cards in that game for Aston Villa, and 3 yellow cards for us. Surprised we didn't get a red in there somewhere, But to have 8 yellow cards in one match, that's a lot of yellow cards. And obviously, 29 fouls is a lot of fouls. We predominantly had the ball, so obviously we're going to have most likely more corners. That ended up being good on our part, obviously, but it didn't end up amounting to what we would have liked, which was a win, because this is a 1-1 win, a 1-1 draw, for us last year. So this is Aston Villa's last game that they played, and this is how they lined up again. So they're lining up a little bit different this year than last year, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys think they're going to do the same as they did last year against us, or are they going to do what they did last week against their opponent last week, which is I showed the 4-2-3-1 when they faced us last time in Anfield. But this week, or last week, I should say, they came out in a 3-4-2-1. Do you think I'll go to you first, Baz. Do you think they're going to come out to with this lineup, or do you think they're going to revert to the 4-2-3-1 lineup that they did originally?
That's a good team, by the way. It's a very dangerous team if we're not on our game tomorrow or later on today. Look, they're coming to Anfield. It's the start of a season, fresh, new hope, brilliant players that can actually give a Premiership teams, not Premiership teams, because obviously they're in a Premiership as well.
they can cause danger. And you know what? They've got nothing to lose. And with these new refereeing things and quite a lot of red cards and fouls that are happening and a lot, they're just going to go out and play their game. You know what I mean? They're just going to go out and play their game. But what you'll find is Unai Emery as manager, this guy's tactically very, very, very good. People very underestimate this guy. He's a very, very good tactician. And
yes, for sure.
Yeah, so I think with the squad that he has and the starting lineup that he has, he can change a lot in that game. So I think there definitely will be tweaks here and there. You know, Anfield should give us the 12th man opportunity, and I think we're going to see a lot of changes in the game and stuff like that. But Moussa Diaby is the one, and Ollie Watkins are going to be the danger ones, in my opinion, in this game for sure. And yeah, I mean, obviously we don't have the strongest centre backs at the moment, but we do have some pace in there with Joey Gomez, who probably will play at centre back.
Right.
So in terms of Ollie Watkins, hopefully Joe Gomez just focuses on just concentration and just doesn't switch off in vital things, because as you know, they have some lightning forwards and they can potentially do danger. But I expect that formation. And
the one that's on the screen right now?
The one on the screen right now, I think that's best suited for the players that they have in that starting lineup.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a dangerous one. So we just got to be very careful for midfield to defense. Our forwards, you know, will get opportunities, and yeah.
How about you, Chris? Do you think that they're going to revert back to last year with the 4-2-3-1, or do you think they're going to stick with this was a 3-4-2-1?
Okay, so I think to touch on their formation, I think the reason why they play like this is because they have a couple of players injured.
Mm-hmm.
So they have Mings, which is pace that they lost in the back.
Okay.
I think their goalkeeper, the Argentinian Martinez, has a calf issue, if I'm correct, and Buendia has a knee issue as well. So I'm assuming to touch on what Bassett says, I think tactically, I think Emery is underrated. I think people don't talk about how well tactically he is. So I think right now he's putting the players that he has available in place to get the best out of them, and I think this suits them very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pau Torres and Diego Carlos isn't as fast as center backs as attackers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think playing them as a 3-back is the best way to kind of protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And then playing Luis and Kamara, helps protect them. So I think they're gonna play just like that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is gonna be different, I think he's gonna move Diarby to the left and McGinn to the right. He's gonna target Trent and Matip.
Yeah, that's
he's gonna point. Like any, I think Diarby's talented. He's probably one of the faster players in the league.
Yeah.
And I think it would just be something so simple as to take advantage of the fact that Matip isn't the fastest and Trent can be get at. Especially if we do this inverted system, which I don't agree should be done on Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then Watkins, I don't really. Watkins is hot and cold, but he does have pace and power.
Yeah.
And on his day, he will expose a back line if you're not on your toes. So it's gonna be a very tough game, in my opinion.
It's going to be this game. I think that I was thinking this game was going to be an even harder game than going to Newcastle, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I honestly did because I think that the one big difference is, just as you said, the tactician that is Emery, as opposed to who I don't think many of us think of Howe as a tactician. You know, he's a good coach, but I don't know.
And remember last season when we played them towards the end of the season, he kind of exposed the inverted system. He's the one that kind of uncovered it while we were playing so well. he came in and he found the plan and he discovered, like he broke it down. So hey, man, it's gonna be a good game, man. I gotta be up at 6 a.m. That's how it's gonna be aired where I'm at. So
Yeah.
hopefully we
Doug,
win.
I know. I'm right there. I'm the same time zone, or for now at least, with you. So.
So
All you guys, man.
Oh, big up. Nilante's in the house too. What up, brother?
What's up, Nilante?
Yeah,
So
yes, the if you guys do want to join in or say what's up or say just give a little 2 cents worth. I did put the link in the chat, so if you guys want to join in, be sure to click it. All right, so then let's just get into the predictions and lineup predictions, right? So this is the biggest question for me: is if this gentleman right here is going to be involved in our front lineup or not. I mean, big up Bejan Pops as well. This is the biggest question. Well, all due and love to Investor. I'm looking at this as being possibly the lineup. And I'm gonna bring in Nilante as well here. It looks like he's about ready to come in. Do you guys have a problem with this lineup, or do you? Let me hear you first, Chris. Of course, yeah.
I think Gomez will be on the left and Matip on the right.
Okay.
And in regards to Nunes, I think, like I said, shout out to the Beijing crew and their channel. We spoke a little bit in regards to the lineup. I think it makes sense because if they start off as a back three, I think it would make sense to bring in Nunes on the second half, where the game will be more open, in my opinion, and he could cut through those channels. So I think we should start with Gakpo, in my opinion.
Okay. You said Hackbo? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. Okay. But everything else, other than maybe swapping Matip and Gomez, have Matip on the right and Gomez on the left. Okay.
But I guess it also depends on where DRB is going to be playing, because I really fear his pace and his trickery. So wherever side it is, then
Okay. And I am starring your comments to the chat, just so you know. We will be bringing it up because I see some of you guys are answering some of the lineup questions and putting in your 2 cents worth. How about you, Baz? Are you cool with this lineup, or do you think that it should be, tinkered with?
No, to be fair, I think that's the lineup that it's gonna be. I do agree with Chris in terms of Nunes, but then at the same time, I think he's a guy that needs confidence. And look, I wouldn't say needs confidence, but he's in good form. You know what I mean? That definitely gave him a good, not kick up the backside, but like a big energy. You know what I mean? That was such a vital game, and for him as well. So I think he should start. If not, I would probably go with Jota as opposed to Gakpo. And it's not Gakpo's fault. It's just obviously Gakpo has been playing in midfield, and I don't know if he's going to be playing in midfield in this game. But then again, Jurgen Klopp can surprise us. To be fair, with that, you don't want to bring too much of your aces in the game. Just the starting of it, you do need to look at your bench later on when you do need to make those tactical and those little tweaks here and there. But right. That is the strongest lineup for me personally. That's what I would probably have to start off with. And again, I echo with what Chris says. DRB is going to be very dangerous in this game. So, there's going to be a lot of responsibilities on particularly Gomez for me, because he's the only one in that back line that's got any sort of pace. So he's going to be kept very busy in this game if the RB gets this opportunity, to run at our defense and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm happy with that lineup.
Okay. How about Nilante? Welcome to the show, by the way. How are you feeling about this lineup? Is this something that you could see happening, or is this something that you want to see happening, or is it something that you would rather see in Klopp do instead of doing this lineup?
Yeah, no problem. And 12th man, welcome as well. Thanks for the welcome. Big up you guys as always, Chris. You know how you do, man. How you
Big up, brother.
doing,
Big
man?
up.
How you feel? Big up, man.
Big up, bro.
Big up you as well, Baz. Big up yourself. In terms of the lineup, I think you both you lot have echoed it well. I mean, I'll kind of go with that lineup. I mean, it's very hard to keep Nunes out. I know it's a cameo, but he needs to be unleashed, because if we don't unleash him now, I was his biggest critic in signing him. I didn't want him, to be honest, but you got to give him a chance. And now, if he's on the bench again, so what does that say to his mindset, his confidence? We have to unleash him now. Now, Jota, in the games that he started, he's been a bit hit and miss. Let's be real. And Gakpo has no fault of his own. He's been playing midfield. I mean, the game against Newcastle, I know we were 10 men, he weren't great, so we have to do it. And for me, there's three key positions that would dictate the game for us. Will be Endo as a DM and Matip and Gomez. Now, the reason I'll focus on those three, because Endo in the DM, I mean, hopefully we don't go down to 10 men again. I mean, that's for sure. So we kind of really need, you know what I mean, be like, great, Rippy do, yeah, Endo, get out, you know what I mean? But we need to see what Endo's made of in that DM with 11 men. We need to solidify that. I mean, so we need to see it. Obviously, for Matip and Gomez, now I'm a big Gomez fan. I've seen him when he used to play for Charlton in Liverpool. So you know, for them to, with Penati and VVD too, they need to hold the back line. So this is going to be the key for us winning the game or for us losing the game. So for those three players for me are the key.
Okay. Yeah, I have. I'm gonna pull this up. I have this is a shot of what I did off the tactical board, and this is basically how they look like we would end up looking like if we were end up going against it. I understand now. I understand what you're saying by if Diaby, depending on what side Diaby starts on. I think McGinn does tend to start on the left side. I want to say, so that's why I had Matip in that role, considering that Diaby I think has a little bit more pace, a little bit scarier of a individual on that right side when it comes to dealing with his pace. So that's why I was thinking maybe putting Gomez on the left side instead of the right this time, and having Matip have the concerns of McGinn and have Gomez be the backup for dealing with obviously Watkins and Diaby and utilizing his pace and speed against those two players. But I could see obviously Matip and Gomez being swapped around.
You know what I also could see happening too? I don't know if he's injured or not, but he can replace McGinn and put Bailey, and Bailey's another speedster as well.
Yeah.
And then now we're in a point. That's the thing. Just like Pops and how Santray's been talking about this high line thing. We have to park like 10 feet back. We have to be compact in midfield. That we can't give them space and stuff. You know what I mean? Because if we play this high line inverted system, all it takes is a long ball over for Matip to run back and pull a hamstring. No disrespect to him. No disrespect to him and anything.
Yeah, let's not even put that into the universe here.
You know, let's not put that in the universe. Yeah. But you know, we got. That's what I'm saying. We got to play smart,
right?
Because as we know, Gomez and Matip are known to pick up injuries.
Yeah.
We got to play to their strength. At the end of the day, this high line for this game isn't going to work for me, in my opinion. So,
I think Kwanzaa's going to. I think we're going to see Kwanzaa in this match. I tell you the truth.
Like the star,
not as a starter, but as someone that's going to be able to allow for Matip to do what he needs to do in that role or in that position, but also be able to. Because I don't think we're going to get a full 90 out of Matip, to be honest with you. I think the reason why we saw him get subbed out in the last match was strictly because I don't think Matip has the full 90-minute legs underneath him just yet.
No,
you know, he might never. I mean, at his age, who knows if he might ever get that level again. But I know that you can get a solid 60 at least out of him.
That's the thing for a lot of our players, to be honest, too. Like you look at Jota as well. I would manage him as well. Same thing for Diaz as well. I think Diaz has probably a good 70 minutes in him because you know how he is as a player. He's a Energizer Bunny, and then after a while,
Yeah.
he loses gas. You know what I mean? So we got to protect our players, man. So
Yeah.
All right.
That's very true. That's so true. Let me pull up some of these comments so that you guys can get some. You can say what you believe or feel what you say. Well, first off, Redbird had a question for you, Baz. He's asking how your operation went. You want to tell him? I think he was a little late to joining. I think Baz is on mute. It went well. I guess I'll answer for Baz until he gets the microphone situated. He said it went well earlier in the thing in the broadcast here. Here's a question for the chat or for the panel. Excuse me. Question: how well can we do off the ball versus Villa? Nilante, how well do you see us doing off the ball work?
Well, if we can pick up from 12 last week against Newcastle, which again, when we were down to 10 men, and then obviously Newcastle had their chances, I thought, I'm not going to lie to both of you, I thought it would be a bit of a long day, and I thought that second goal was coming. But to be fair to the team, they dug deep, which again, I'm seeing again, it's not 100%. I'm seeing a bit of a change with this team. Again, there's a new team, fresh ideas, fresh energy. There's Sabo is being, you know what, and I think one guy I will focus on is Sabo, is because he wasn't my original pick for us to sign. But to be fair, what I can see this team, he will work. He's a grinder. I mean, he's a grinder, and he works his socks off as a number 8. Not just offensively, we know he's got the quality, but defensively as well, which is a good system. So I believe off the ball will be more compact. I mean, I don't, you know what? I got a feeling we're not going to do the high line thing because with Matip and Gomez, but the way they are is a risk. If we do that, Philly will expose us. So I think we're going to be a bit compact, but we're still going to play the game. But off our ball will be a bit more 10 yards further back, if you know what I mean. So yeah.
Okay. This is a great. The Football Sanctuary has put in some really, some really good comments here. So this is what he's saying. His lineup is going to be that we're going to face at least is Martinez, Cash, Konza, Torres, Digne, Luis, Ramsey. Ramsey could be an interesting inclusion. McGinn.
I thought they sold Ramsey. No.
No, he's still there, Chris. He's still there. Jacob Ramsey. Yeah, he's still there. There's another Ramsey. Not him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diaby, Watkins, and he has what you possibly suggested as well is Bailey being inclusion.
Bailey, yeah, he's underrated. I like him.
Oh, definitely.
100%.
But I think Martinez is a doubt though, because I know he's been struggling with a calf injury. So
I hate Martinez. No offense, I just can't stand that guy. Ever since the World Cup, man. Ever since the World Cup, I'm like,
you gotta be one hell of a player for the federation to change the rules for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta give the man props, man. You know what I mean?
No, I can understand that part. Yeah, for sure. Jay Kismet is saying we need to start off fast, attack, and take the heat off the defense without Virgil by keeping the ball. I've been stressing this. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion on that too. And something that I've been saying quite a bit on a bunch of broadcasts is that the best defense is possession. If we have the ball, that's the best defense that you can provide. And by becoming, there's a reason why I think Klopp said that he wanted to be a possession-based team, and that being one of his main concern or main missions for molding this rebuild of a club into being more of a possession-based team. If we have the ball, there's no need to play defense because you have the ball, obviously. So, yeah.
I am a bit concerned, right? I don't know what you guys think in regards to poorly, but then again, to quote Pops and stuff, we're still technically in preseason. How mediocre we look, like the first 20 minutes of the games that we played. So we're like slow starters in a way.
Right.
I think what we miss, I think, which is underrated, I think we miss Thiago's ability to slow down the game and dictate the speed of a game, and we don't have that. So I don't know what the plan is for tomorrow, but hopefully we can be, like I said, compact and smart in the way, because I think too, like for some reason too, like we're like misplacing passes a lot. Like the first half an hour in games, we're like misplacing passes. We're like, I don't know.
Okay.
We seem like we're the one like away from home. Like there's no,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. Like we're not like.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna have to look into that stat. I know that there is a way to track that stat. It's to show like as how the progression of accurate passing and everything, and even progressive passes. You know, like that's a big stat nowadays. Is that whether the stat is like moving forward as opposed to just sideways or backwards, as opposed to going forward into an attack. So yeah. All right. So here's a question for you, Nilante, because it's coming up here. So Nunez can't start. We need Hata or Hackbo to start. Nunez is better when the game is stretched. Do you agree with Football Sanctuary on this?
No, I don't. And yeah, the game is stretched. I hear that, but Nunez can. You know what? I think that's been a bit harsh on Nunez, and like I said, I'm not his biggest fan. But I mean, if he's gonna be the sub, then what is the point of him? We spent big money on him, so what is the point of Nunez if he's gonna work with the game stretch? We can stretch the game in the first half. It's up to the midfield and us to penetrate big pause for that, yeah, big pause, with the ball and move the ball quicker and play to his strength. So I don't see this. He needs to come off. No. He needs to start. We saw those finishes. Those finishes were Sergio Aguero, Thierry, world-class finishes right there. So if he doesn't start, we can't just waste it. So when is he going to start then? So I disagree.
Do you think this is something, Chris? I would like to hear your answer on this one too. Do you think that possibly Nunez has to do well in this game, or it's a setback for him? He has to do well in that he has to perform, because if he doesn't, then it'll be like, you had your chance. Now let's go.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So I think, like I've spoken in Beijing's channel, I think Klopp has had a conversation with our strikers. So Gakpo, Jota, Nunez, and he has a goal for them this season. And his expectation of them, I think. So I'm not too worried. Because I think there's a lot of games throughout the season for him to get game time and produce. And I'm starting to. It probably has a lot to do with you, tough man, but a lot of fans have switched their mindset or switched their perspective of Nunez, and it's beautiful to see, man. To be honest, it really is. But like I said, I think right now, I think I kind of agree with Nilante per se, is because I think because we haven't started Nunez, I don't think a lot of teams prep for Nunez to start. So you can just throw him off, for example. So, but we'll see, man. It's a good option to have, to be honest. It really is. To have, and, but I think also in regards to Jota as well, people don't really, in my opinion, because I can be wrong statistically, I think Jota doesn't offer anything if he doesn't score a goal.
That's interesting. That's an interest. I have a retort to that, but that's interesting.
He is our best finisher, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
He is our best finisher, but I think but this is like what game was it? Which I felt like he was average, but then he scored a goal, and I think that's something that he offers. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a good headache to have, to be honest. I'm not the manager.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see, man.
Yeah, you know what? So with that said, because I know that there's a lot of people that have been starting to warm to the effect of thinking of Nunez as possibly the only outright number 9 on our team. Like, as in, it's not a disrespect to Hackpo, who I'm one of Hackpo's biggest fans, but he's not an outright number 9. He's more of like a false 9. He's more of like he's not that poacher style of a number 9 that you envision when you think of like Holland or or your Lewandowskis and stuff like that, or your Kanes. With that said, though, do you think this is just a possibility of thinking? Do you think that possibly we could also see Hakpo being used as a 10 and utilize that as an option and still keep the front lineup being like Salah, Nunez, and Diaz, but to utilize him not in that midfield? Because sometimes a lot of people were saying that they believe he got kind of lost in the midfield when Hakpo did, at least, but pushing him into that 10 role might bring about a difference. Do you believe that, Nilante? Do you think that's a possibility, at least?
We could, but I just feel we could do both. For me, he's more of a. It's kind of hard with Gakpo. I think he's either a left winger, or he's someone that can play as a. Well, how can I say a 10? Not as an attacking midfielder, a 10 as in the Bergkamp role off the second striker in that sense. More close to a second striker. That's what I feel. And in terms of the 10, I think we'll have, for me personally, better options than Gakpo.
Okay.
So, I think if we're gonna play someone in the 10, it has to be Sabazalai.
Yeah, he's one. Yeah,
he's the one. But then the good thing is, we can put Gravenberch in the position where Sabazalai usually plays at and move Sabazalai as a 10 and do that. But then defensively, I am a little bit worried in regards to how that's going to work out. But then again, if like you say, we become a possession team, it doesn't really matter, right? We just keep the ball. So yeah.
I'm gonna pull up this too, because I'm getting asked about what it is. So let me just visualize, so you can visualize it, and the chat can visualize it with us as to what I'm referencing, at least. Let's bring out Endo for a second, and utilizing it would bring McAllister and Dom back a bit to play somewhat of a pivot. But let me see where I have Hakpo. But utilizing it, he would almost be like, I would call it a 10, but we could also call it like a shadow striker. You know what I mean by that? Like
yeah.
Somewhat like what you've seen. Hout has played that role for us as well. But I mean, something of where he's, Nunez can be the poacher, but Hakpo can do that work of being the defensive-minded striker that helps with the midfield. Do you think am I wrong in thinking is that going to maybe move them out of position too much, you think? Is that possibly what you're seeing out of this?
I think, all right, so the issue I have with it is the fact that if you do this, it weakens our bench.
Okay.
So so let's say later on the game and we're not doing well. Who are you taking out who and replacing it with who? Because if you take out Gakpo, who are you replacing him with if the team is like this?
Well, you're saying if we're in a situation where we need goals, or are we in a situation where because I'm hoping that by putting Hakpo up, we're going to have basically 4 forwards in essence, and 2 midfielders that can score themselves, but 4 forwards in an attack, and then we'll be able to possibly, if once we are 2 up, 3 up, whatever up, even if we're up a goal per se, then we could utilize bringing in Endo, or we could utilize bringing in possibly, we could utilize even going to a back 5 maybe or something. I know that we're never going to do a back 5 because that's something I would love to. I actually kind of wouldn't mind seeing if we're so worried about defensive structure.
But then technically, haven't we technically been playing like this, but with Jota in there as well?
Yeah. A lot of times, you're right.
It hasn't really clicked yet with all of the. That's what I'm saying. Like, because we've been playing with all of them on the field, and it hasn't really clicked yet as well. So that's all I'm saying. Like my concern is the fact that when it's not working out, and you have all these players on the field, and when it comes to later on in the game where you have to manage a game or you need a goal, who do you bring out for who? Because we technically don't really have a strong bench if you have all these players on the field. So that's my concern.
Okay, I can understand what you're saying. I know we're never going to pay a back five. Let me just show you this real quick because we have Bejan Pops in the audience as well. And Bejan Pops, if you want to hop on in the chat or on the panel, feel free. The link is in the chat. This is what I had suggested originally to Bejan Pops. So obviously Gomez would have been VVD, and this would have been Kanate, obviously. But hypothetically speaking, let's say we did have the likes. This isn't for the next matchup, obviously. People, let me just keep that in mind, or have you keep that in mind. So this is like utilizing. It would be something of like this. We could actually do like this.
You probably should put Matip in the middle because how he's able to carry the ball forward, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll put him in the middle.
No.
I have 2 players on the pitch right now. Double check. Yeah. So 5. Yeah, right. And then have them be like a pivot in the middle. And then utilize this. So that way you would be able to have Robertson and you'd be able to advance players and more like it would be a revert to how we used to play. However, just not having a DM. If the DM would now be a center back that is more anchored in the formation. You feel what I'm saying? So therefore, Trent could continue to do his original role, which was being a right back and being able to do the switching and doing all the interplay between him and Salah. You know, you have Robbo continuing to go, being able to be a left back once again and being able to bomb forward and help Diaz or vice versa. And then you have the unique abilities of McAllister and Dom, who are both have defensive abilities, but could also press forward and be able to push forward in the midfield, knowing that we do have a 3 back. It's somewhat almost like what Chelsea does with Reece James, and that formation where they have a back 5 in essence, but it's not really a back 5. It's more like a 3-4-3 in essence. Is that am I crazy, chat? Panel, you can chime in too. But am I crazy for thinking that's not a bad idea?
It could work. Like, to be honest, it looks like we have the players for it. It's just Klopp, man. He's too persistent with like his 4-3-3 or whatever.
4-3-3, 4-3-3.
It'll be so nice to like just be tactically flexible. I think we're just not, like, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I just like I would like to one day have the option for teams not being able to prep for us because we're so tactically good that we can just switch up. You know what I mean? And it doesn't help as well that we have players injured and we have to switch up plans and so. Yeah,
it can be frustrating to see the way that we have to play players out of position or players playing in positions that is taking away from the position that they really should be playing.
Exactly.
But I understand what you're saying. I definitely understand. But all right, so then let's just go back to it. Then I guess it's going to be the 4-3-3, just like you and Nilante said, and looks like will most likely end up being this as a format. Being Gomez, you think Gomez should play on the right side too, Nilante, or should he play on the left of that center back pair?
Oh, that's a difficult question because Gomez, well, the form he was, as much as I was biggest fan, he was terrible last season. He weren't great, and Trent, and that's the problem because Trent.
Yes.
And you see this, and Trent is another one because Trent is getting on my nerves because he's played. Look, we all know he started the youth system academy as a midfielder, but you played the role for 6-7 years and you're still doing basic mistakes that on a Sunday football level that kids won't do, and it gets on my nerves with Trent. And I don't know. I think he's right back.
I completely agree. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be negative. It's just
No.
at some point,
Sorry.
we have to have a conversation about Trent.
Yeah, Chris, it's annoying, man. It's just basic. Look, none of us are free of it. Look, we've all played football at some level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the basic, simple mistakes he keeps on doing. It's not like it's something spectacular. It's just basic rookie mistakes, and it's embarrassing. You played the role for 6-7 years, and you're still doing the same mistakes, and it's costing us.
And-
So at some point, top has to, which he's not going to do because he's vice captain. It's either you're going to put him in midfield, or if he's not doing his job, drop him. But we know that's not going to happen. He's vice captain, so
You know what I think, and I think
Yeah.
when Klopp leaves, Trent won't be a right back anymore.
You know, Chris, unfortunately, it might be that, but I don't think we can afford to do that now. But yeah, it looks like that's what it's going to be.
I think with the new manager comes in, I think Trent right back is done, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's true. And even
too is the fact that we changed this whole formation. We did this whole inverted system for Trent.
Yeah, oh Lord.
Yeah, I mean, like
we did.
Think about that, Chris. You're spot on.
That's true, isn't it? Yeah,
We've totally changed this entire, and it might not even be Klopp. It might be Pep. I understand that, so I'll just throw that out there. But,
which is crazy too.
Right, but it's one of those things where how we're looking at this going forward with this isn't because of what we saw with Pep G at least, or Arteta. Yeah. It was more so that we were looking at how do we get Trent more involved, period. How do we get him more? How do we re-engage this person that is somewhat at certain parts of
that word right there you said right there, re-engage, is worrying for me. That word right there. That it's a beautiful conversation that we're having, to be honest, because re-engage is very scary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know we really don't talk about the mental side of the game. A lot of fans don't. A lot of fans don't care for it. But I feel like Trent last season was in the slums mentally, I think. Mm-hmm. The media was cooking him, social media. It was a sad place and stuff. It really was.
It was, certainly.
You know what I mean? But then to change the whole system for Trent.
Yeah.
It worked out for a couple of games, but when it's found out, it kind of leaves him more exposed, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Let me let you guys talk and cook. You know what I mean? Because I feel like too, there's a saying like, there's too many chefs on the kitchen.
You don't have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. I think that's the issue. I think because you look at it too, like what I've noticed too. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Salah's been doing more defending since this whole thing has happened. Where he should be up front, where he could, but he's not. It's too. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Let me
hear Nilante. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I mean, Chris, I don't know what we've been having some pina colada. I might have to buy you a drink after this, man. We'll agree again, man. And you tough, man. But yeah, I mean, we're going to disagree at some points, but yeah, just echoing what he's saying. Yeah, it's just the same thing with Trent, and this is the problem. And just to reiterate what he was saying about, and this is the annoying thing with Trent about, and what you were saying, 12th man, about the whole rejuvenate, making the system work for Trent, kind of copying Man City's successful formula with what they were doing last season, which, yeah, but I just didn't like it. Why can't we let's stick to what we're good at? Let's stick to what we're great at. Now, when we were winning trophies and Trent was doing his thing, and yeah, he's still defensively suspect, but he's more on fire and attacking wise. And yeah, he had some good defensive games, but the team was on fire at that time. All our players were on the prime, the peak of the powers. But now it's got to a point where Klopp, he needs to stop this thing with Trent. It's just getting embarrassing. And look, how the hell can the England manager come and say, you know what, Trent, you know what, nah, man, done with the right back. You in midfield, yeah. We're not putting you as a defender. You're a midfielder. And Klopp, you're still insinuating this thing. I don't know how much times he wants to do this because at
Yeah.
some point it's gonna crash.
Can I
It's
say
gonna
one more
crash
thing?
and burn.
Can I say one more thing before Nelati finishes the dinner right now and stuff? 'Cause he's,
Yeah, don't worry, Chris.
he's
Listen,
about
man, you don't know what I'm having, Chris. I'm having some jollof rice and chicken, but anyway, we move. Go for it, Chris.
no, but
Yeah.
I think also, I think people don't talk about because I'm not trying to bash him and stuff because he's one of our own, right?
Mhm.
That doesn't need to be up to. We have Sabazalai now.
Yeah.
That he is creative. He's a goal threat. We don't need Trent up there anymore. In my opinion, he's an option. For example, for certain games that I think a lot of teams do like to play a low block against us, and that's where you use Trent in the inverted system, so he can be an extra man in midfield with his cutting passes, etc. But he doesn't really need to be doing that anymore.
Mhm.
We have Sabazalai, we have McAllister now that are able to unlock defenses. So that's where I'm conflicted now because it's like I don't know what's going on now. Someone needs to explain to me what's the plan for Trent going forward.
Right.
That's where I'm confused.
I feel you. Beijing Pop's got one for you, Nilante. Says Nilante using the West Coast as an example isn't the best. He's still picking Slabhead and KP, and they don't even play. Okay. Very interesting. I can understand that it is a concern that we've adjusted this team to suit Trent. But honestly, a lot of times I've had this question that I posed. I think it was on Beijing Reds TV. I posed it, I believe, first time. And I asked the question of, would you rather have a team that teams have to adjust to you, or would you rather have a team that you have a team that adjusts to your opponent? And chat, please answer this question too. I'll repeat it, and I'm going to listen to the panel and see if they have an answer as well. Would you rather have a team that is more, rigid in its construction, that an opposing team would have to adjust to you, or would you rather have a team that you adjust to your opponent? Nilante, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I can answer that for you, 12 man. You want a team that adjusts to you, because if that team adjusts to your situation, how you play, then you can dictate the game how it's meant to be. So they're adjusting into your formation, your tactics, then you can move or how you want to move on the pitch. Then we'll be in control of the situation. We'll be dictating the tempo of the game. So any team that adjusts to us, then it's a win for us because we'll be able to take control of the game, and more times often than not, we'll be winning football matches.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Chris?
I can't. The man is speaking facts, man. He's cooking right now, man. I completely agree. I agree.
That's why I hope that when I see him pop in the chat, I always hope that he hops on the panel.
Yeah,
for
example, one of the greatest managers I would say of all time. Yeah. Carlo said it. They're easy to play. I know how they're gonna play.
Right.
True.
You know what I mean? Like when you and not. I don't think he meant it in regards to trying to belittle us. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately. Right. And you look at his playing style. He changes up. You have to be able to change and adapt. You know what I mean? And look, for example, I think he had comments in regards to Barcelona and their playing style, and it's once you figure it out, they got to change up, and that's why I think right now that Barcelona is changing in regards to the way they play and stuff. Because even look at, for example, now Pep Guardiola doesn't play nothing at all as how he used to play when he coached Barcelona and stuff, and the Barcelona DNA. He's able to adapt every season. He's doing something different. Look at the way in regards to how he's embedding Haaland in his team. Obviously, I know him having massive amount of money and able to get the players does help, but he's tactically flexible. Maybe he's too tactically in the way he thinks that sometimes he ruins himself because he overthinks things. But it's a really nice thing to be able to adjust to different scenarios.
Yeah.
So
I I've always said that I'm agreeing with you because I actually it's interesting too because I got cooked for saying it. I said I'd rather be a team, despite Carlos Ancelotti's comments. I'd rather be a team that you have to adjust because that means that we're at such a level of excellence that you have to adjust your team and do things that you're not possibly comfortable doing. Okay, so you're doing something that you're not obviously the best at doing. And we are so good at doing what we are doing that we're causing you to come out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, to have to do something to defend against us.
12 man, I think, what's different now, and not to bash the players that have left, I think we have technically more gifted players now than we did before.
Absolutely.
So we're able to do more, and I expect more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we have a lot more techie players, and I think for years we've demanded players like that. We used to have the workhorse midfield with Henderson and Wijnaldum, but I think now we've upgraded in regards to the technical ability of these players. So
agreed.
I expect a better technically played team and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of different things that we could say about Klopp tactically, and whether he gets it right with some of his substitutions and such. I know that a lot of us often do that with hindsight. Being in hindsight's always easier to pick and be looked at as being the almighty genius at the time. But you're absolutely right about the comments that you said. Let me hit up some of these starred comments so I don't fall too far behind.
Yeah, Redbird. I don't know if Redbird's upset or something, but
yeah, you know why? Because I believe there was something. I think someone said something about Endo, and he thought it was a negative comment towards Endo. And Redbird's on the lines of where I'm at with a lot of the players that we have. I'm one of those players. I'm one of those people that once you put on the right kit, I'm going to support you. I'm not saying that you can't be you can't be criticized. I'm not saying that criticism can't be constructive. Hopefully that criticism is constructive criticism, as opposed to you just don't like the player and you want to hate on him and you're not going to give him a chance. I think that like with Endo, one of the things I've been stressing so much is that the difference with Endo is that Endo brings what we need in a 6, and that is, hear me out, Endo brings obviously someone that's decent at aerial duels. He's if you look at his numbers, he's really, really consistent in aerial duels. He brings up the fact that he's willing to cover great amounts of space and do all the leggy hustle work that you often saw Fabinho do, but towards last year especially, he just didn't have the legs to do it. He was left on that island because he was relying on Henderson, or relying on sometimes Jones or whoever else was in that the 8 role. And by having to rely on those guys, not necessarily all just Jones, or even putting a lot of the blame on Henderson, but having to rely on them, it's just so much space to cover. And it ended up being so often you found these spaces that were being really picked apart. And that's just what I think Endo brings, is he's going to be willing to do that heavy, that grunt work. He's going to be willing to do all the blue collar style work, that I don't know how else to put it, put the hard hat on and be the guy that goes and tracks down and does all the other work that a lot of people don't want to do. For instance, in that Newcastle game, Tonali had a run on goal. He could, and you saw Endo track back, make up the space, and do a block on the shot attempt by Tonali. Again, it's just that kind of like efforts that you'll see a player like him do. Yeah, sure.
What I think hasn't helped Endo as well is the fact that for the past 2 games we've been playing with 10 men.
Yeah.
Like,
to be fair,
what do you expect? What do you expect? Like, we have to be. I can't believe I'm talking like 12 man right now. We gotta stop being. we have to stop being so.
I'm gonna call you Chris 12 second man.
Man, we're all the 12th man. So there you go.
And and this is the thing, and I really appreciate you, 12 man, because
Mhm.
I think last season for all of us, man, to be honest, all of us suffered as a fan.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we really did. We really did. Especially for me, I would be up at 4:30 to watch because of my time zone to watch the team play, and you wake up that early to watch your team lose, and it was just bad for me. And I went through personal issues and stuff, but it was so refreshing to see you like it's like, bro, you're never negative. Well, I don't know about your personal life, but like online,
Yeah, exactly, man.
like you were always positive, man. And it's like I was so conflicted. I'm like, what's going on with this guy? Like,
Right.
he's never like, well, online he was always positive, and it's like, yo, man, like it's a beautiful thing to see, to be honest.
Yeah,
and
you
I,
have to be that way, though. You have to be.
100%.
I mean, like I look at it as this. It's simple for me. Is that look, we all have a lot of things going on in our lives. You know, we have a lot of adversities. We all deal with a lot of different things personally, and you know, sometimes we bring that out publicly or we don't. But I mean, misery seems to like company, and it seems that often I've seen a trend of people doing the work of our rivals. The rivals want to see us miserable. I've seen so many different takes. Like I was speaking on earlier, I was speaking on on Uncle Rod's show about Have Hope, for instance. Have Hope has his own channel, you know, and he was talking about he was bagging on Darwin. He said, "Oh, I gotta give him his flowers. He did it." And then as soon as he said that, it was like, "But," and I'm like, "Oh, here we go." You know, like,
because not everyone knows, but few people know that I served in the military, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I remember my warrant officer he told me a saying. He's like, anything after "but" is bullshit.
yeah.
So bullshit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, like, anything after, you know, we all know what comes out the butt. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, bullshit, right? So pause. Yeah.
You pause on that. Yeah, exactly.
But like honestly, like the way I see it too, I think you've helped me like realize, to be honest, like the way I see it. Obviously, it's not the same comparison, but it's like, man, these players, man, be out there, man, running to the ground for these teams, man, and we're so quick to like belittle them and kick them to the curb, right?
Yeah.
It and it's like I was one of them, to be honest. I am, because I'm an emotional guy and stuff, and I like being negative. It's just in my nature, right? But it's like we're so quick, man, to belittle these players, to kick them to the curb, and it's like, but then we won't do that the same thing for our manager, which is crazy to me, man. Obviously, I know it's a different conversation.
Yeah,
you know, but it's like that's the way I see it, especially in the military. You see it as like the grunts, man. We get treated like trash, you know what I mean? And then you got your officers and the command center just living the life, telling you orders from a computer, and we're out there in the field of battle, you know. So man, we gotta like, you know, we gotta respect the mental side of the game. I think, you know, we ignore it so much. So
have you? I'm sure Nilante too. Like I'm sure you've seen some of the reports come out about Ramsdale. The reports about obviously with now I'm going blank on his name. Played for played for Spurs.
Goalkeeper.
No, played for the Spurs. Then he went on to play for Everton. He came out about his mental issues.
Dele Alli.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, you see these occurrences going on, and you see these people, and I think sometimes we disconnect the fact that they're real people. You know, we just think of them as you just need to go out there, entertain us, and then whatever happens in your life, it is what it is. You know, and you're right. There's often times we disconnect from that emotional connection with these players, and it can be troubling to me, because these are also, again, why I brought up the Have Hope thing, or why I brought up, like, you know, the rivalry thing is that's the rival. Let rivals, you know, talk the trash. Let rivals do the you know, all the hate and all that stuff. For the most part, I'd rather see us try to uplift it, because if you think about it, if there's not many rivals that are going to big up our players for any matter of the word. And then if you get to, let's just say half the fan base, it's not that number, but let's just say half the fan base, is on one side and the other half is on another side, then basically you're saying that 25% of fans out there are being supportive of these men, and yet 75% of them are just trying to bring misery and just shame. And it gets to the point where it's like eventually you got to say, stop. I'm going to stand up for this player. I'm going to stand up for my team, and I'm going to stand up for my fan base because I think that we're above that. That's how I look at it.
That's a beautiful thing, man. That's too positive for me, but I respect
it.
Yeah,
I know. It's probably a little too positive.
Yeah. I respect it, though.
A little bit too sweet, I guess, or something. I guess. But I like my sugar. Pause. Oh. So anyway, so let me knock out some of these more of these comments here and hear you guys' takes on it. So we're looking at. I think Nilante had might have popped out for a second.
Probably like a connection issue.
Yeah, Nunez definitely starts. Hopefully, Villa play quite a high line. Hackbo doesn't run in behind them. That's a good point. It's a very good point. Hata is better off coming off the bench. Okay. And you know what? Real quick to this point, you mentioned Hata earlier about how I believe it was you that said that he doesn't really have.
He doesn't offer anything other than scoring, in my opinion.
Right, and I think that the one contention I would have with that comment is only that because I think that he starts or tends to get the start, even in front of Hackbo sometimes, but especially in front of Nunez because of his commitment to the counter press. I tend to think that he has a little bit of a higher work rate and higher understanding.
You know what I think my issue with is Jota is the eye test. I think that's where I'm saying it. Like, okay, like what I'm seeing is that he's offering nothing, but he probably is doing something. I'm probably being too hard on him, in my opinion.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I already put that one up.
That one already.
Let's see this one. Nunez has chemistry with Salo too. Hackpo really doesn't. That's not really that bad of a shout. I'm not saying he doesn't have any chemistry, but I think that's not that bad of a shout. Well, I think Nunez has some real chemistry with Salo.
Yeah, well, preseason they look pretty good together. Well, I know it's preseason, but they were building something. So, yeah. And then when you have a focal point like Nunez is easier to aim for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, Hackbo has been off boil playing in midfield. I agree. He has been. I don't want to say he hasn't been. He's definitely been kind of lost in the sauce, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Kind of like it's very difficult. You're talking about the eye test. It's very difficult to really.
Because it's confusing, right? He comes in. He's a left winger in PSV. They move him to be this striker role, and they want him in midfield or like it's like, you know what I mean? A player needs consistency, right? In position, right? So I don't know. He's one of our own, so I don't want to you know what I mean? So
right.
Buy him and stuff, you know.
Let's see. Bejan Pop, this is a long one, so I'll read this out. It says if we see them playing the high line with D9 or Darwin Nunez, the ambassador starts. If not, then we go with Hackbo and bring in Hata and D9 from the bench, either when we are ahead and can make switches or if the game gets stretched. Exactly. I'm hearing this stretched a lot. I mean, it's very interesting. I don't know. Do you think this game is going to be stretched as a lot of people are referencing?
So it all depends, right? Because I think if we score first, they have to open up, right? Because they're trying to win the game or they're trying to tie the game. So that's when you have to exploit the spaces, right? But the thing is that Emery, tactically and defensively, he creates good teams. So if we concede first, it's going to be a lot harder for us to score the goal. But then again, I said the same thing against Newcastle, and look how that turned out. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
Think about it too, right? Like players get tired mentally, physically, so that's when you have to exploit it. That's why it's so good to have players like Jota and Nunes to come off the bench and
I feel you on that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on
It's
that.
just good to have.
Having those options is good. I mean, as long as they've accepted, not necessarily accepted that role, but more of can really utilize that role. Because some players need a little bit of time to warm up.
Yeah, or like buy into the role in a way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Kismet is saying Darwin has to start.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Football Sanctuary. If we start Darwin and it doesn't work, what are you going to do? To bring on Hata? I'd rather do it the other way around. That's what he's saying, which is I think what you're saying, correct? Or not Hata, but Hakpo.
Yeah, I want Hakpo to start.
Substitute Hakpo for Hata.
And the only reason why I'm talking I'm trying to keep Jota on ice is just managing him physically. I don't want, you know, I mean, we need him.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
There has to be certain games where you just put him on ice and not bring him on, so that physically he can just hold out for a season, because he's only averaging 20 games a season.
Mm-hmm.
To me that's not good. So we have to manage the players better. You know how I am with the sports science stuff. So
yeah, no, I completely understand that.
Yeah, Dr. Chris. Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, no.
Intently with the injuries in that, boy. Chris, you need to listen, man. If I could buy a ticket, get you from the States to here, I'll do that, man. Trust me.
No, they can't afford me, man. I'm too expensive. I live if people don't know, I live a very bougie lifestyle. So.
Oh, do you? Oh God, boy. God, you put me to shape. But okay.
In California,
California is not cheap at all. Look up. I live in a. You can look it up. I don't care. I live in Coronado, California. Just look it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna do research on the other side of the UK. I'm gonna do research. I know California, but California. Let me do my research, because boy, over you guys on the other side of the pond, it's dangerous out there. That's why I want to go down there.
I'm looking to go out to Arizona to visit my boy.
Nice. Hold on. What? 12 man, you live in Arizona?
Yeah, that's where it's
okay, because I've got a friend who lives in Arizona as well, so that gives me extra motivation to get in the trip.
We need a link.
Yeah, definitely.
A get together, something like
100%, man. See, this is why I'm up at this night with you guys. People like you make it worthwhile, both of you. You know what I mean? So
it's different out here, man. It's different out here. Arizona will be the one place. It'll be wintertime, and we'll be hanging out by the pool. It's different.
That's the life I want to kind of live, and that's the life I might have to get to. We'll speak to the missus, tell them it's a boys' vacation. Don't worry, I ain't gonna do the dirty. I'm just gonna visit my boys, and that's it.
Because I'm originally from New York, so we're used to.
New York, okay.
I'm from New York. I'm from Queens. My wife is from Brooklyn.
Oh, Queens. Oh, I'm a Nas guy, so that makes sense.
Hey, now we talking.
Yeah, I'm a Nas guy. Yeah, that's my goal. Yeah.
But
that's what's up, too, man.
I moved to California 4 years ago.
Okay.
We haven't experienced snow not once here. There's
no God.
Yeah.
And when it rains out here, it's like once every 3 months. And when it does rain, people don't know how to act here. They put on sweaters and jackets. Like, come on, it's not that serious.
Exactly.
Very bougie. Very bougie.
Oh my God. Oh wow. That's right. I might have to discuss with my missus. Says we might have to move from the UK to over here. You know what I mean? I got a reason to come over to Arizona now.
No, but I heard it's hot, right?
It's hot. It's always hot.
Yeah, my friend, he tells me the same. Yeah, he tells me the same. But I don't complain. I'm a man who likes the heat. I like the blue skies and heat, so I'll never complain about that.
Yeah.
So
if you don't mind the heat, then But if you do mind any bits of the heat, do not come in the summertime, because it is.
I can imagine.
In the worst, it's.
I've seen people like in Texas as well gets hot too, but in Arizona, I see people like with a frying pan outside, put it in the floor.
Boy.
Absolutely.
And they're cooking eggs outside.
Yep.
Jeez.
That's how hot it is. You could crack an egg on asphalt and you could cook it for sure. That's how scary it is.
I've been to Phoenix. I know Phoenix is a very nice city. Very nice.
For sure. It's
bougie
decent.
as well too. I like it.
As you just said.
Yeah, I like it.
Right,
I think it's just the New York in me, man. I'm a New Yorker, so we're just bougie people, man.
Yeah.
I stayed up for a hot minute in Astoria, so
Astoria, Queens. Yeah.
Okay.
That Definitely. I was more. I stayed more in Long Island, like Bayside and like Westbury, those places.
Oh,
But
nice. That's a nice place. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, see.
All right,
Travels around,
You know how it is. You know how it is. Redbird is saying, if we start Hatta and it doesn't work, what are we going to do? Bring on Nunez if it works both ways. That's what he's saying.
It depends, right? Because I think they both are something different, right?
Yeah, for sure. They offer. I think they offer something dynamically different.
I think Jota's older plays better.
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone on our front line that matches. Maybe Diaz, but very close. It's very close, but I don't think anyone matches the pace of what Darwin has. I think Darwin is our fastest.
He's rapid. He's our fastest player, right?
He's possibly one of the fastest players in the Prem, I think, that so far, or currently.
Yeah.
He got dethroned by Mudryk, no?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think so in terms of speed, because it's kind of weird. I think Salah 2-3 years ago probably would have matched him, if not better. Mm-hmm. Salah, he's still got the pace, but it's not the pace of 2-3 years ago. But yeah, Nunez, he runs fast. It's true. He's very underrated still with his pace.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Right.
Yeah. It says yes. Football Sanctuary is saying yes, but Nunez has shown he is better off the bench for Liverpool. He hasn't shown anything when he starts because he is a 100-mile.
Nah, disagree. Nah. Come on, man. Let's
stop. You're a stats guy, so you probably have the answer to that. I don't.
Yeah, that's. He has shown things. I could actually. I did a whole series on Nunez and why I think that he's going to, score 20 plus this year. Definitely in all comps, if not 20 goals alone for Liverpool for the Prem. I know that's a high bar if he doesn't start, but
yeah, if he does end the Prem 20 goals, that's great. That's a good season for him.
Yeah, that would be an excellent season. I think that he ended up with 9 goals last year, so that would be a big jump from 9 to 20. But I think that he could do it. I think that we have the most high octane offense in the league, period, I think, truthfully. So let's see what else we have. This one, which is saying, oops, my bad. He always tries to run in behind. He does that in the first 10 to 15 minutes. Villa will just drop deeper. Emery ain't dumb. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, but the thing that was different now, we have players that can shoot from range. So yeah, he can go sit deeper, but okay. Well,
I think Dom will test the goal. Yeah,
exactly. Dom can shoot from range. McAllister can shoot from range. Trent, even though I don't want him up there, he can shoot from range. So he can play silly. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm so happy that we have a lot more technical players now.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Says, I'd rather keep Darwin's confidence. This is what Jay Kismet's saying. Walk alone. I'd rather keep Darwin's confidence up by starting him. We're at home, and Darwin's pace is needed to start off fast. It's going to be interesting. I think, and again, Neilante, this is something I was saying to Chris as well. It's like, I think that if you do start him and he doesn't, is it going to be a bigger knock against? And he's someone that I know that at least I've seen. This is the reason why I believe he has a true striker mentality. It's the same thing. It's like that. It's like Kobe Bryant, for instance. Kobe Bryant could go out and miss. Mamba. Yeah, that Mamba mentality. Yeah. He could miss the first 5-10 shots, and he still in his mind thinks he's going to hit that 11th.
Yeah,
And that's a difficult mentality because in a lot of people's mentalities, we tend to get discouraged, and then we don't want to shoot the ball, or all of a sudden we change up our game, and we'll do like and trust me, I'm from the Philadelphia area, so I'm a Sixers fan.
Oh, you're from Philly?
Yeah.
I got family in Philly. That's what's
up. Philly's my jam, right? Yeah. So
I'm gonna call you the Fresh Prince now, man.
Yeah.
Paul Smith.
Paul Smith, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go.
The only reason I'm bringing up the Sixers thing is because we were in the playoffs and Ben Simmons had a chance to dunk the ball. He had a clear shot, and he ended up passing it. Yeah. And it's one of those things. It's like that's not the Mamba mentality. You need that mentality to be like, I'm going to score. And I think that Darwin has it. That's the
Now
one.
you know what I think too. I think the Twitter space is such a toxic space. I think they don't represent the true Liverpool. Well, I don't want to say true because that's not the right word, but
Right. I get what you're saying.
because I think when he scored against Newcastle, the love he got, they was screaming his name. It was like Nunes. I think playing at home will help him, man.
Will help him immensely.
Yeah, it will help him, man.
There's a difference too, and Nilante, I don't know if you noticed this too, but what Chris is saying is spot on because the fans that go to the game seem to really, really love Nunez. The Nunez chant can be audibly heard. The sheer fact that a lot of people are so high on knowing what he can do, and the optimism for it.
Yeah, I think they come up a lot with your vibe, 12th man. Like support the player. Like he's one of our own. We want to succeed. Yeah. So
Yeah. Do you see that? You see that in Nilante too, or do you think that it's more so, lukewarm? They're still trying to figure him out or something.
No, I mean, like I said, 12th man, as previous, like I said, when we first bought Nunes, I wasn't keen on him. I felt that we could have spent the money in different areas. I didn't see how he fit in our system. But now he's here. I just said, you know what, I've got to give this man a chance. Now, last season, I thought, to be honest, a decent season with him would be, in terms of the Premier League per se, would be about 15 Premier League goals. Obviously, he didn't get that. He's a bit hit and miss, to be fair, last season. There's some games which he should be bearing chances. Some games he did well, and then at the end of last season, he didn't start. And now here he is, and the confidence is there. I mean, he done pre-season well. I mean, he came off the bench, he done what he done, and we've got to let him shine. It's the time is now. For me, the time is now. And at the end of the day, us, as we both, gentlemen know, extinguished gentlemen know, we're Liverpool FC. We can't afford to be slacking right now. So we paid this money. So let him do his thing and let's see where he goes. That's it, really.
Yeah. Hey, we pay for this chef. Hey, let's see what he can whip up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Looks like you guys got started. No wonder the 12th man looks a little bit like Will Smith. Oh goodness.
Oh wow. It's coming out now. Yeah. No, we just need the theme song. Actually, just off of topic, you two, have you watched the new Fresh Prince?
Yeah,
I have not.
I have not. I've seen clips of it though.
It's okay. Yeah. It's not bad, to be fair. Yeah, I thought it'd be a bit. Yeah. I thought because it would never be the original, but it's not bad. It's different though. It's different. Well, it had to be, but yeah.
Okay.
We'll watch it. It's interesting to say the least.
All right. So let's see. I only have a few more comments here, and then we're going to wrap it up here. It says, Redbird, disagree. Nunez has created havoc for the opposition. He's better than most people give him credit for. Glazers want $10 billion for United, so it looks like the potential buyers will move on. LFC is an option.
Yeah, I just read that the Glazers kind of cut off deal. They're not selling the club now anymore.
Wow.
$10
billion.
Oh, yeah.
$10 billion.
But then you think about it, marketing wise, isn't Man United top 5 franchises on the planet?
Oh no,
it is.
I'm not saying
That's the thing.
That number is such a huge number. That's a really. I mean, considering I thought their original valuation was closer to 6.
It's still a lot of money though.
Oh, it's still.
But you know what I think it is too, 12th man. I think they're in debt, so I think they want to pay off the debt as well.
Oh, okay. So they utilize that to pay off the debt. Got you.
Because
I think the one thing also about the Glazier circumstances is that the Glaziers, it's not like one group. It often is the same thing, similar to what people think of FSG. They think of FSG as only John Henry. And that's it. No, John Henry might be a primary owner in the group, sure, but he's not the only owner in the group.
Exactly.
And the difference is with FSG, it's they're not even related. In the Glaziers, they're related. So it's like a family affair when it goes with that. So now you're dealing with your brother, or your sister, or whoever all is getting a share and say of it. You know how sibling rivalries can go.
$10 billion. Jesus Christ! Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to think of other franchise like in America. The Yankees probably can go for $10 billion though.
The only other franchises I could see contending with Manchester United would be obviously Real Madrid, possibly even Barcelona.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about sports in general, the only other ones I would say would be probably
Lakers.
The Knicks, surprisingly, but the Knicks.
Okay.
Yankees,
the Yankees, yeah. The people
and the Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys. That's America's team apparently. The Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They're trash though.
Yeah, Bun them.
But people underestimate how popular baseball is out here in the States.
No, people really do.
I think if FSG were willing to sell the Red Sox, they can get easily like $5 billion for them.
No, easily. That's a really crazy thing about it too, is that I see a lot of the salaries that are being, reported about all these players in these leagues. Yet, it's quite often now that ever since A-Rod broke that $250 million, salary contract, nowadays, seeing people make $250 million as their new contracts is quite often.
And baseball don't have a salary cap too, which is
they don't.
And they have a union and everything. You're gonna get your money, and that
no, trust me. If I don't have any children, but if I had a child, I would have my child if they had to pick from the 4 sports, most likely I would say baseball, because baseball you make your money regardless.
Yeah,
like you get signed, you make your money. You get injured, you make your money.
Exactly.
It does not matter.
And the crazy thing, and if you're Native American, no tax.
No taxes.
None of it whatsoever.
All right, so I only have like 4.
You could be 1% Cherokee, no taxes.
No taxes. Newcastle beat Villa 5-1, and we beat Newcastle with 10 men. Make what you will out of that. Make what you want out of that, I think. I brought this up too when I was going back and forth. I was on Quasi Bowl TV. Big shout out to Quasi, of course. And I was going back and forth with it and dealing with K-Mac at the time. And because K-Mac was talking about, we're in the mud and this and that, and how
I heard you went in apparently.
Yeah. Oh, that's because
people hit me up. People were like, "Yo, 12th man went crazy." I'm like, "Oh shit, I missed it."
That's because it's funny. It's because he was talking about how Villa is so much better than us. I'm like, but Villa got piped 5-1 against Newcastle, and yet we went into
that was the first game of the season, no?
Yeah, it was first game of the season. Yeah, and I get what's that?
But you gotta look at it in context, right? It's the first game of the season, maybe. You know what I mean?
I mean, hey, I think the first game of the season of 5-1 is quite a bit. They did have an injury. I get that in that game. They did have to scramble and do certain things to make it work. Everything else, but 5-1 is 5-1. That's them go. I think they played at Newcastle, right, Milante? Right?
Yeah, St. James's Park. Yeah.
And yet, getting handled the way that they did by Newcastle, the Tonali goal was a really nice goal. They had a couple other decent goals as well. And then we go in 10 men down and come out with a 2-1 victory against a team that the only goal that they got was on a mental lapse from one of our best players. It makes me say, I don't see why we have this doom and gloom aspect of it. If we're going to do relative things or make it relatable, okay, this team beat this team, so why are we so worried about, or why are we rating this team so highly? I don't know. Did you disagree, Milante?
No, I don't disagree at all, man. No, I agree. But again, I think you should know this is the Premiership, because 1 minute you can lose 5-1, the next minute you can win 2-0. So I hear what that comment is saying, but take that as with you. I take that with a pinch of salt, if I'm honest, man. That regardless doesn't change the fact that Philly are a good team and they could take points off us. They won the last, I think 3, is it 2 or 3, have they? So you're right. Yeah, they have. So again, I'm not going. It doesn't mean anything really. Again, Sunday's going to be a different game. Remember, we've got Matip, I'll tell you the three key players, Matip goes, Endo, they will dictate. Again, I could be wrong because if if Endo doesn't start, we're gonna have egg on our faces with this lineup. But who knows, innit? You know, with older Mr. old Kloppy. But
there's no way. I don't think Gravenberch is there's a little caveat in there that says that even though this is what I was reading at least, is that even though he had to be like registered by.
Yeah, he's not going to be in the squad. He won't be. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Actually, guys. Yeah. Let me ask you both.
Play would be.
Yeah. Really. Actually, guys, let me ask you both a question. Mm-hmm. Where does Gravenberch fit in this team, in this lineup for both of you? Where does he fit in this lineup?
I don't.
Okay. Let's pull it up again here for you. So, who are we replacing? Who are we taking? Who are we replacing? And what is the shape that Nilante is basically asking? What's the shape that you would see, Chris? I have an answer for that too, but
I see Gravenberch working in a two, so like Endo and Gravenberch type thing, like a box of four, pretty much. So Endo, Gravenberch, yeah, like that.
Who are we taking out though?
It'll have to be Luis. It hurts me, but Luis Diaz.
Oh wow!
Oh, well, wait.
Oh, Chris, you're really putting in the daggers for your boy Diaz, yeah?
I know. Whoa, whoa!
It's a good.
Whoa! Be careful! Someone's gonna clip that up, man. Someone's gonna clip that up.
It's okay.
Exactly, top man. Like, I'm glad we got this on YouTube now, Chris. You're scarred for life for this, you know.
Yeah. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. It's okay. I've met him personally, so it's all love.
Oh, nice. Okay. You met him. Oh my God, Chris! It all comes out deeper and deeper now.
No, he's from the same town as my grandmother in Colombia, Barranca. So
nice.
Very small village. So it's not like he's not like my best friend or anything like that. But
no.
He's known in the community, so it's like
That's what's up.
Okay, I see. Interesting. Okay.
So all right. So then, if you have Diaz sit, and you have Endo come in,
Pops.
yeah, exactly.
Big up Beijing Pops. Big up Beijing Pops.
You're looking at more like a box. I got you saying you want more of a box midfield, but you're looking at what McAllister, I guess, here, Dom here, and then where would you put?
I don't know, Pops. Like, sort this out for me, man. You're better tactically than I am.
Pops, if you're in the chat, definitely.
Yeah, he's right there. He's making a joke and stuff. I have to blink just in case I'm against my will and stuff.
Here, I'll put the link one more time. So, Pops, if you're in there,
Belgium Pops, come and put your thing on this.
Tactically, Pops, he knows his stuff tactically.
He does. Like I said, after the Beijing Reds TV show, we ended up really and Beijing Reds. If you're in the chat, if you're still in the chat, or you want to hop on in, surely jump on in for sure. But me and Beijing Pops were going, breaking down lineups, and that's when I originally told him about the five back lineup that I was like envisioning. This is before we had Endo, of course. But yeah, I'd like to. That's an interesting way. I mean, we'd have to figure out, because what are you then saying that you're going to have basically you're going to put Hakpo and Salah as the two strikers?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if that works, but I do. I see Gravenberch as like a part of a two-man midfield. I see that working.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Tactically, you know me. I'm the medical guy. I'm not.
You're really worried about.
Don't really clip me up with that stuff. If you want to talk about like ACLs and MCLs and all that type of stuff, or fractures, you call me. But this stuff, I don't know. This is like playing chess and stuff, and I'm not good at that.
See, that's the thing. Nilante, you have a good point. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, well, we're going to play him in a pivot. We're going to play him in a pivot," and I keep saying to them, "Well, then who do you take out? because realistically, you're either to play these two players in a pivot, you're going to have to take out either someone front line, or you're going to have to go to a back three. And I don't see us going to a back three.
If we do back three, right, we will remove. We could if we do a back three, we can remove Robertson, put Endo in the back three, move Trent into. Oh, that's too much work. That's too much.
Yeah.
Now we're playing FIFA, and I'm not good at that either. So
I think the closest you'll see. I think the closest you'll see to what that you'd want to see, at least, this is just my tactical breakdown of it, is that, okay, I'm going to put Lutro in, put in my Colombian brother, Lutro, okay, representing. We're going to keep McAllister in. Okay, now if you were to want to utilize him, and we're going to have to unfortunately take out Endo, who big up to all my Nippon brothers out there too. Nippon means Japanese or Japan. So if we're going to put Gravenberch there, what the closest thing I think you're going to see being a box midfield or having them as a pivot is if you put Gravenberch on this side and then you still continue to utilize the inverted. And that's what I would see being the closest thing to getting a pivot with Gravenberch in it. You feel me? Is that how you see it too, Milante, or do you see different?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. Or if we're doing 4-3-3, Gravenberch can play as a 6. I think people forget that. Obviously, he's not a DM as such, but he can play the 6 if needs be, a solo 4-3-3-6, or again the pivot 4-2-3-1. You can do the Endo. You can play him as a double pivot, or you can play him further up. So it really depends. But again, if he's playing the 6 for us, because again, unless we're changing the formation, then you just have to be a little bit disciplined. But he has the intelligence to play it because he's from the school of Ajax, and Dutch football and Dutch philosophy is very, on point. So again, you can do it. So that's my thing. We see. But again, you say that, but then you get on the flip side, you say, where does Thiago come in? So there's options, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I think that's the show that you showed love by joining in on about Thiago when I was referencing Thiago. And this is already I'm getting flack for my tactical takes. Beijing Reds is saying stop it, 12th man, the inverted ain't it. Gravenberch in 8 and Alexis in the 6. If anything.
No, Alexis in the 6. No.
Do you know Beijing Reds' favorite player is Joe Linton? You know that, right?
His favorite player is who?
Joe Linton.
Oh, dear. Oh my God! Right, you need to have some rare nephews. That's terrible. My God! No. All right, ban him from this channel. Channel.
Exactly.
This is exposed.
I'm just playing.
Much love to the Beijing crew.
Big up Beijing and Reds TV and Pops and all of them crap.
But no, I think that's I think that's the only way you're going to see this. I don't know if that is until Gravenberch has been really orchestrated into learning those skills of a 6. I don't know if I am, and again, I guess, obviously this will be VVD. It'll be obviously Konate being the role, being hopefully the players that play in this back 3 at least. But and I could actually, let's just put them in just so that we don't get misconstrued. But I'm not sure if I'm really confident to say that defense, that having Trent and Gravenberch as my pivot is what I want to see. I'd rather see an Endo there. As he said, all strength to what he had to say, and I'd rather almost see McAllister get there. But I don't want to see McAllister be pushed into that 6 role. I want to see him in the advanced midfield role.
Yeah.
But would you, if this was our midfield, or if this is what we're looking at, is that something more of what you could see? Let me see if I can get off. Is this what you're more comfortable with? Is having Dom and McAllister and Gravenberch there?
Yeah, that's fine. That's the way I see it. I do, yeah. But I think at the same time, because we're going to play, 50, 60 games this season, depending on how far we go in the Europa League and Cup. So I think there'll be times where Dom and McAllister will be rested. So there'll be a lot of rotation. So there'll be times, I think, with Graham Birch, he'll play in the 6, and there'll be times he'll play as an 8.
Okay.
So I think he'll alternate, really, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what Klopp ends up doing with it. It's going to be very, very interesting. It looks like apparently, he's saying, "Oh my God, what kind of lineup is this?" All right, I got you. We obviously don't have all of our fans, at least when it comes to some of our takes. Angel Wings, one of our great Aussie Reds, I still believe the greatest unit. You'll never walk alone was from you guys. It still gives me goosebumps when I hear it. Yeah, did you ever hear that? That was true. There was when the Reds went to go and do, I think it was a preseason matchup down in Australia, the entire crowd was singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and it was just so incredible about how you felt as though if you close your eyes, you might have felt like as if you're at Anfield. That's how resounding the sound was of them singing the song. It was pretty beautiful. And big up to Angel Wings and all my Australian friends and fellow Reds as well, by the way. Sorry, so let's just we're about to wrap up here. So let's just say, what are we looking at? Score predictions, if you want to do it. I don't necessarily want to force you into a score prediction because I know that often is the case is that we end up, I feel as though I jinx my team. I'm very superstitious when it comes to that kind of stuff, so I usually don't give score predictions. But if you guys want to give score predictions, do you have something in mind?
3-2.
3-2. In the chat, please tell me what your score predictions are too.
Mm-hmm.
T1 for me. T1. Nice
Okay.
T1.
Who's going to score for for Villa?
Watkins and the RB.
Oh, so wait, you said 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the lone scorer for your 3-1?
Oh, T1. DRB.
Oh wow. Okay. So we need to shut down Diaby. And who'd you say again? You said Diaby and who? Chris, who were the two scorers?
RB and Watkins.
And Watkins. Okay, so we got to shut Diaby and Watkins. All right, I think we could do that. All right, let's see if you guys agree with some of the other shouts. Okay, so Bejan Res TV is saying 3-0 Liverpool. He's saying clean sheets. I sleep good for sure. Jay Kismet is saying 3-0. Looks like we're staying on the clean sheets. Okay, cool. Bejan Pops is agreeing with 3-1. He's saying. Okay. Trap Joe's on the same. No score predictions. La. Baz is saying from LBFC TV 2-1 Liverpool. All right. Phil Bidwell, big up my red. He's saying 3-2. Okay. He's on the same page as you, Chris. Bejan Pops is saying, I think he's saying that he believes Ollie Watkins is going to score for his 3-1. Wow, man. It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. Are you guys going to be watching at home? Are you going to be going to like a supporter pub or anything like that? Or what are you guys planning for
6 in the morning for me. Ain't no supporter pub open at that time.
How far away? So wait, I know you said you're not close to LA, right?
No, I'm driving. Well, with me driving is like 30 minutes, but like if you're driving the speed limit, it's like an hour and something change.
Okay. I've been to 2 supporter clubs when I was because I have a place in LA too. So when I go to LA, there's a couple of supporter pubs that I go to. That's why I was asking how far away you were. And the one I went to was really, really cool, actually. At least the two that I went to both of them, but the one that I went to and actually got a chance to engage with all the people there. That was a fun time. How about you, Nilante? What are you going to do for tomorrow?
No, I'm just going back home because I'm in UK. I'm living in Wales right back now. So yeah, I'm just gonna go back home and just watch it on the TV really with a crying baby. But that's fine. All good.
Okay. It's. I got you. You got the new life with the newborn.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a newborn, Nilante?
Yeah. I just had a son. On the he's born premature. He was meant to be due September, but he was born in June. So
my youngest was premature too. That thing was.
Oh yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah. Oh, as you know, Chris.
Hard. Like I was in New York. I got my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, but she called me. She was on the train. She's like, "Oh, I think my water broke on the train from she was coming from a checkup."
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. The baby's doing like 2 months.
Mm.
And I'm in Long Island, and she was in Brooklyn. If people know, it's kind of like far from each other. So I had to get a cab, go to the hospital, meet her in the hospital. My phone died, and I'm in the hospital looking for her, but my phone's dead. And it was crazy. That's a story for another day and stuff. But
you could. Big up, Bajan, all the time. Big up.
Baby's healthy, right, Nilante?
Yeah, he's all right. It's just unfortunately, Chris, as a medical man, I don't mind sharing this. I really don't mind. Basically, unfortunately, he's got to have a hernia operation.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But the place where the hernia is luckily he's not affecting him. He's not in many pain, but he needs to get it cleared. He needs to get it cleared. So hopefully, sometime later this month he'll get that done, and he'll be at peace. So
All right, that's great. Keep us posted, man. Keep us posted.
Yeah, 100%. No, both of you talk, man. Yeah, 100%, guys.
Hey, you know what? There's still promise and hope, even though he has to have the hernia surgery. I had the same situation actually when I was born as well. So
yeah, see, and look at you, mate. You're running your own show on YouTube. There you go.
I made it.
Exactly, yeah. And now you'd be called what Will Smith is 12 Smith now. So there you go.
Yeah,
there you go, Chris. We're in the presence of a star.
Nah, man. I'll stick to Ghost before 12 Smith.
Yeah. Big up, Agent Pops. Big up for that.
Yeah, I don't want to hop on stage and slap someone in the face. So you know how that goes.
Literally.
Oh man, but no doubt. Beijing Reds was saying this to you as well.
Oh, big up Beijing Reds. Yeah, okay. I see. No problem. No, thank you for that. Yeah, no problem, man. No, keep your guys up to date. Big up for that.
Yeah, he's saying
oh God, Beijing. Oh, flipping heck.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a giant.
Yeah, that's big up. Showing a lot of love. That's what a good Reds family should do, is show love for each other, and
big up. Thank you guys. The comments, thank you. Big up.
Everybody's showing love for the baby. Baby love. That's what's up.
Baby,
all right. Well, looks like we're going to wrap up here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be doing a watch along tomorrow, so definitely tune in for that. Should be a lot of fun. You might end up seeing me. Hopefully, I can will our team on. I don't know if you guys saw my last watch along. we were down in the dumps, and Nur Beats was with me co-hosting, and Nur Beats was like, let's just hopefully we'll get a 1-0 or we'll salvage a draw. And I looked at him and was like, salvage a draw? We going for the win, baby. 2-1.
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah, I would have. People would have clipped that up if I got that wrong. That people would have all clipped that up and maybe try to look stupid. But hey, I'm hoping for good things this time around. And I appreciate again if you guys could tune in tomorrow or join me for some of the fun. It's going to be an early morning for us on the West Coast, but it should be an enjoyable one. Hopefully, I can I won't show up in my PJs and do the game. So, all right, definitely appreciate it. Appreciate you hopping on, Nilante. Appreciate you coming on, joining as well, Chris Angel. Anything you guys want to say to the people before we bounce out?
No, man, you need to do more of these shows, man. We need to get your views up, man. We got to get your subscribers up, man. You need to post some more, man.
Hey, road to 100K, man. I feel you on that. Road to 100K. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's get it. And if anyone need to hit me up, 12th man, hit me up on Instagram, and Chris as well can speak privately. So it's my Instagram it's Blav, so that's BLAV 2384.
Let me put my number in the private because I changed my number.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, say both. How about both of you guys? Just after we end the broadcast, just stick around for like a few seconds, so we can exchange information. But definitely appreciate the chat. Big up to the Reds. Let me leave you with this last little bit of what I like to now include into these shows as well. Look, you'll never walk alone. It's not just a song. It's not merely an anthem. It's a statement of intent. By subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing, this becomes a movement to empower our mighty Reds. That is you. That is I. We are all the 12th man, and I appreciate the fact that we support each other and we keep this movement going. So with that, we're going to say goodbye, God bless, and see you soon.